Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Happy Friday. Good morning. We're missing Ayomi today. Good morning, Rufai. How are you?
Oji.
Happy
You're
Friday
looking
to you. Thank you. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the outgoing vice president of the country, took his successor, Senator Kashim Shettima, on a familiarization tour of the presidential villa on Thursday, ahead of the May 29th inauguration. Speaking after the tour, Shettima said that he visited the presidential villa to exchange ideas with Osinbajo on how to move the nation forward and commended the vice president for his efforts.
He took me around the offices out of courtesy, and I want to commend him. I want to thank him.
In Sudan, warring sides on Thursday accused each other of being behind breaches of the latest ceasefire in the country. Now in its third day, the one-week truce was violated minutes after it came into effect on Monday night, with residents of the capital Khartoum witnessing airstrikes and artillery fire. The conflict, which has exacerbated an existing humanitarian crisis, has forced more than 1.3 million people to flee the country and has threatened to destabilize the region. Under sports, the police in El Salvador on Thursday arrested the president of the football club Alianza, as well as other club officials and stadium personnel in connection with the stampede that left 12 fans dead on May 20th. The Attorney General's office said on Thursday that Alianza president Pedro Hernandez and the club security manager could face charges of manslaughter, causing injury, and causing public havoc after hundreds of fans were enraged when they weren't allowed to enter the stadium despite having tickets. Prosecutors believe the organizers of the game illegally sold more tickets than they should have. Then, 17-year-old Philip Solomon from Ondo State, Nigeria, has been declared the Guinness World Record holder for most skips on 1 foot in 30 seconds. Solomon broke the record on January 24th after he recorded 153 skips on 1 foot in 30 seconds to outdo former record holder Rasul Islam of Bangladesh, whose record was 145. Solomon's record was officially ratified by the Guinness World Record on Tuesday, May 23rd, 4 months after his attempt.
Stop.
Finally, under entertainment, Grammy-nominated Afrobeat star Seun Kuti has kicked off his European summer tour just 2 days after he was released from the Lagos State Criminal Investigations and Intelligence Department's custody in Lagos, where he spent 8 nights after he was filmed assaulting a police officer on the 3rd Mainland Bridge. The 40-year-old singer, who is the youngest son of the late Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti, had put the tour, scheduled for May 20th through August 16th, across the United Kingdom, Italy, Spain, and Slovenia on hold because of his pending trial. On Thursday, the Afrobeat star took to Instagram to announce that he is off to Zurich in Switzerland, where the tour took off the same evening.
You see, I have not slept in 2 days just so I can be here, man.
Well, all right, let's begin what's trending. Nigeria's First Lady, Aisha Buhari, on Thursday commended wives of military officers for supporting their husbands carry out their constitutional roles for national development, describing them as agents of stability and development. Aisha made the statement during the public presentation and formal launch of the book, The Journey of a Military Wife, written by Barrister Victoria Irabor, the President of Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association in Abuja. According to the First Lady, despite all the challenges experienced by wives of military officers, some traumatic, they are still hardworking. Aisha further urged the Nigerian government to consider addressing some of the issues raised in the book, like the support system for officers and their families, and called for economic empowerment opportunities for military wives in public and private sectors within the country, as well as privileges for former presidents of Nigeria.
As wife of the president, exiting wife of the president, I would like to use this medium to speak on behalf of the former first ladies of Nigeria, to be able to, the federal government to listen to or to consider us as people that need help, not as magic makers. And also, the privileges that is given to the former presidents of Nigeria, they should do more. It's still not enough, considering what people go through in that house.
All right, Dr. Abati, the First Lady has said, considering what people go through in Aso Rock. Remember your article you wrote about spiritual forces in the Aso Rock, but you know that Femi Adesina has said that he slept very comfortably. But we must commend Aisha Buhari for all of her efforts. Would love to see more support for military wives. I am a police officer's daughter, so obviously I support.
Like barracks.
No, I said police officer's daughter. I have warned you, Dr. Abati.
Not from barracks.
I have warned you.
Don't police.
Yes, obviously, absolutely, why not? But I support that cause, obviously, because, like I said, I am a daughter of a police officer. But also, the question is, what more do the presidents want? Okay,
the occasion at which Mrs. Aisha Buhari spoke was at the launch of a book by Mrs. Victoria Irabor, wife of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Irabor. And her book is titled The Journey of a Military Wife. And indeed, military wives experience a lot, just as the wives of policemen, and every wife goes through a lot of experiences, whether you are the wife of a journalist or the wife of anybody, because the woman is the center of the home, the source of stability in the home. And that's why the Bible says that he who finds a good wife finds a good thing. So it's very good to see, wives of public officials also writing their memoirs. But the point that you have made about Mrs. Buhari, well, Mrs. Buhari is saying that, in fact, she went through a lot of trauma as a first lady inside the villa. And that she kept praying regularly that she and her family should leave the place alive. And even her son. And you recall, truly, that they went through a lot of travails.
Yes.
On one occasion, the president, as we have pointed out, was in and out of hospital. In fact, he spent almost 1 year out of the 8 years going in and out of hospital between Nigeria and the UK. And people kept saying, look, this should tell us that we have to be more concerned about the health of those persons who want to lead Nigeria. But today, the same president is sprightly, is looking very healthy and fit. And many Nigerians are saying, we are happy that the president is finishing strong, which is an expression that some, platforms used. So Mrs. Buhari certainly knows what she's talking about. Our son had an accident, on a bike accident.
Yes, I remember that story.
And, as a mother, she must have panicked. But again, we thank God, the gentleman survived, went on to take a beautiful wife, while the father was still in office. But above it all, you refer to Femi Adesina. Yes, Femi Adesina has been going about that there are no evil spirits in the villa, and some mischievous sub-editors, cast headlines, say, Ruben Abati lied by talking about difficulties in the villa. In fact, Femi Adesina wrote that he was snoring peacefully in the villa. Well, you can give that all kinds of interpretations.
Yeah.
So if a man says he went to the villa as presidential spokesman and he was snoring every night, well, that in itself is instructive. But it's my friend. He was once president of Guild of Editors. I don't want to do the analysis of the snoring, but I think it's something that we can note in terms of the semiotic indication of saying that if I was snoring soundly, you go and snore in the villa for 8 years. Oh, no wonder I didn't see the demons. You know, when you snore, you'll be seeing angels.
Absolutely.
Because you are asleep anyway, half of the time.
Well, all right.
Is there an indication, Oji, that the economy of Nigeria too was snoring brilliantly for 8 years?
Rufai.
In Nigeria.
Rufai
Oji, I would love to comment about that. I would love to comment about President's wife, Aisha Buhari, because they said she faced a lot of trauma. Yes, personal trauma, but she traumatized a lot of people in the villa. You remember the story of the boy that said he was taken to Aso Rock, that we had to protest? Also, some people in the villa too. You remember she came out to talk about the Mama Dara family? You remember the fight with them Tunde? So as she faced a lot of trauma, she too became traumatic to some people. Some people too traumatized her in the villa. So it's trauma-faced trauma. I know you don't have to much.
Yes, she is echoing Dr. Ruben Abati. Well, in another development, as some state governors wind down their administration, the governor of Rivers State, Aisha Wike, during the dissolution of the State Executive Council at Government House in Port Harcourt on Thursday, accused the previous administration of looting state property, even down to pillowcases and kitchen items. The governor boasted that unlike his predecessor, his administration will be leaving the government house and the state very fulfilled. Let's take a look.
We did not have an opportunity of anybody handing over to us. We never had an opportunity to be handed over any document. In fact, it was even difficult to get a parade vehicle. We had to borrow from the governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, who borrowed us the vehicle to do a parade on the swearing. That tells how bad it was, how wicked the previous administration was, to the point where I couldn't pack to government house for more than a year because everything was looted, down to pillowcases, down to bed sheets were looted. The kitchen was looted. But that is not the case today. The governor-elect has been part of the government. The deputy governor-elect has been part of this government. We thank God that we are going to hand over successfully to the government-elect.
All right. Rufai, over to you. I mean, but we must commend the River State governor, though. He has done a lot for the state. But I mean, looting pillowcases.
Oji, let's be very careful in life.
Okay.
The Yorubas have a saying, "Baba soku soja arale eni nimba." What it means, if you throw stones into the market, it will come back to you. Governor Wike is saying all of this and trying to be a saint now because he's not in good terms with Amaechi. He said the last administration losing pillowcases. Governor Wike was invariably referring to himself. You know why? Please, can you let me ask Governor Wike, wasn't he a chief of staff to Amaechi? Didn't he partake in that administration that said was looting pillowcases? So you see, when people want to attack other people, they end up forgetting that they are so embedded with the other person that they attack themselves. This is also the same Governor Wike. You know, property in Rivers State, bulldozing them, taking them over and things like that. A lot of people, there have been a lot of court injunctions as regards him not even going ahead to build on lands of cases that are still disputed in courts. But because he wants to smear Governor Amaechi, he has forgotten now that he also served in the same government that they said that when they were going, they looted pillowcases and everything. The question we should ask is, wasn't he chief of staff to Governor Amaechi at a point? And that's the question we should ask ourselves. And Nigerian politicians should watch it. Because you see, they think they are on top now. Before you know it, a couple of days to now, Fubara will come in, Fubara will become governor. Hope Governor Wike will not complain when Fubara too starts to assert dominance and say, I will not take this governor. Because you see, down the line, we've seen it. They will still fight. like politicians do. I'm not saying I'm looking at Fubara fight to. Fubara might be loyal to the government, but it will get to a stage where the government will want to assert itself. Hope he will not complain. Because you see, this game of politics, we forget that there's an end to it when we play it. But it is not also good for government officials to cut away government property when they are leaving. A lot of them do it too much. You remember the case of Oshun? How chairs and things even had to be returned. We should also tell government officials as they are leaving, government property is not your property. Things, you know, it's so bad, things as pot and pan and plates, even spoon, people take out of government property for their own benefit. We should disabuse that. Once you finish with your tenure, leave everything there and go. Don't loot.
All right, this is a very important story, Dr. Abadia, and we don't have much time to talk about this, so just quickly.
The vandalism of government property is an offense. It's called theft. The fact that a person has served in a government position, has occupied government premises, does not mean when you are leaving, you cut away the things there. That's number one. Number two, yes, Wike was chief of staff to Amaechi, but 2015, when they were cutting away the properties, he was just returning from Abuja as Minister of State. He became governor in 2015. And when he became governor in 2015, one of the issues he raised at the time was he went on a tour of, government house with, I think Dr. Accuses was there. You know, there were other persons who were there at the time, and they are alive, to either confirm or not. And he was showing that even kitchen utensils were taken away. Yes. Pillows were taken away. Who took the pillows away? Maybe the people who occupied government house at the time enjoyed pillow talk so much. They got a lot of excitement from pillow talk that they thought that the pillows should go home with them.
I mean,
so that
really pillows. How much do they?
You know about pillow talk now.
Yes, I do. And I think every adult knows about pillow talk. Dr. Martin, you will not.
No, because the government is saying they took pillowcases.
No, it's unacceptable. They should not. Dr. Martin, unfortunately,
we would like to hear from the people who were there.
Yes.
Kenneth Kobani and Dr. Accuses who were there. But Amaechi is alive and well.
Yes.
Governor Rotimi Amaechi.
He'll come out and respond.
I think he should defend himself.
Yes.
We want to know where the pillows and the pillowcases and who took them. Because we may go further and say they took pillowcases from the governor's bedroom.
Oh, well, all right. We'll take our final story. All right. The spokesperson of the Lagos State Police Command, Benjamin Hundeyin, on Thursday reacted to the claims made by a female police officer, Fauzia Isaac, who said she was detained by the Lagos State Police Command on Wednesday, May 24th, for demanding that her resignation letter be approved. Isaac took to social media on Thursday to call out the police for detaining her, claiming that she had worked for the force for 6 years and that last year she tendered in her resignation and that, till date, it hasn't been approved. Isaac also claimed that she was summoned by the Deputy Police Commissioner for an interview on Thursday, only to be thrown into detention, while Benjamin Hundeyin, in a flurry of tweets, took to Twitter to respond to her claims. This is what he says. Setting the record straight. It is one thing to turn in your resignation. It is another thing for the application to be processed, upon which you receive a discharge certificate. Till you get the discharge certificate, you remain a serving member of the force, bound by all extant rules and regulation of service. Police absence from duty for 21 days without leave or permission automatically results in your being declared a deserter. Every serving member knows this. Corporal Fauzia Isaac, who serves in the office of the Imam of the command without leave, permission, or discharge from service, absconded from duty for over a month in flagrant disregard for the conditions of the service she willingly signed to. For this offense against discipline, she was detained yesterday for the commencement of her orderly room trial today. Dr. Bati, a lot of questions here. I mean, she has said, and she's in detention tweeting. Last night she was saying her phone was about to die. She needs a blanket. I mean, mosquitoes are biting her. I mean, does it take a whole year, though, for a resignation letter to be reviewed, as she claimed? The only thing I did not see from Benjamin Hundeyin's tweet was happened to her resignation letter? Why did it take that long for her to be approved? That's the question everyone's asking out there now.
The appointment, promotion, discipline, and service of police officers, are determined, are guided by the Police Act and also by police guidelines and regulations. Now, what is clear here, the question I will have raised, because Benjamin Hundeyin, was late in responding, is to ask, did she abscond? Did she discharge the force?
Well, that's what he said in his tweets.
Yeah, so
that's what he's claiming in his
the explanation that he has given now is that, look, under the rules and regulations, under the Act, there is punishment for desertion. But what is important is that in this particular lady's case, she says she's been applying for almost a year, and nobody has listened to her. She works in the religious department, and she's nicknamed Honey Seller. So I found that also curious as a student of language. What honey is she selling within the police that our bosses don't want her to go? Is it religious honey? Or is it the honey that she sells that is the problem?
It's just a healthy honey. Honey is for tea. That's what we are saying.
Yeah, but they call her honey seller. But she should not be held against her will.
Absolutely not.
If she says she's tired, she wants to go, she should be allowed to go. And then she's been maltreated.
Yes, she says.
In detention.
Yes.
That maltreatment is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Because she also has rights. That's why the fact that she's an officer of the state.
Absolutely.
So for me, I think it just speaks volumes about the police. Honestly, I hope incoming President Bola Tinubu will truly reform the police force.
Absolutely.
It needs a lot of reform. And these are the things we're talking about. Even so, if the police does not respect his own officers that said after service, I want to leave, that is taking over a year to process
I've never heard of
exit from the police force.
A whole year.
A whole year. So and because of this, now you're saying, she decided about a month ago. So what happened when she put the letter forward last year?
That's the question.
And the next thing you gave a reply, and you said now she's in detention.
All right.
I mean, the police needs a lot of reforms.
Absolutely.
It has to be stated.
Well, thank you both for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. I hope you have a great weekend. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.